This might confuse some of you off the bat, so give me a chance to explain myself, but the Xbox One might be, at this point, the best system to just play some games on. If that's all you care about, if you're just a guy or gal who wants to buy a system and start playing a ton of games, the Xbox One can offer so much in the way of gaming right now. And this is actually a video that I've wanted to make for a while now because I felt this way about the Xbox One for quite a while. And while it might surprise some of my regular viewers, I actually really do love my Xbox. I play it quite a lot. In fact, lately, I've probably played it more than my PlayStation. That's gonna change when Spider-Man comes out, but there's a lot about Xbox to love. So let's shift gears in this video and talk about some Xbox One. And the reason why I finally decided to make this video about Xbox now is because Microsoft recently announced their Xbox One all-access inclusive mega bundle amazing system deal where you can actually pick up an Xbox One at no cost up front, start paying some fairly cheap monthly payments, which gives you access to the Gold Online service and the Game Pass service. There are so many things I want to talk about in this video regarding the Xbox and why in some ways it's actually a lot better than its competitors. So let's talk about this all-access deal, what it is, why it exists, and how it can benefit you. So recently, Microsoft has introduced a new kind of subscription model that bundles together everything you need to play on Xbox One. The Xbox All Access deal lets you purchase a new Xbox One console along with 2 years of Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass all under one monthly payment. And it's as follows. The Xbox One S, which is the newer model of the Xbox One, not the original crappy one, but it essentially does all the same stuff. You can grab that at $22 a month. So up front, you pay nothing. You pick up an Xbox One with a controller, you get access to Game Pass, which we'll get into, but has hundreds of games that you can essentially just start playing for free, kind of like Netflix. Yes, you're paying for it monthly, but it's really cheap. Even if you just went out and bought Game Pass right now, if you have an Xbox, and you went out and subscribed for $10 a month, you get access to pretty much all of the exclusive Xbox One games on launch as well, mind you, so any future Xbox One exclusives will be on Game Pass at launch, and you get a huge library of other games they've put up there, from Xbox One to Xbox 360 games. You can just download whenever you feel like and play them whenever you feel like. Or if you'd rather get the Xbox One X, that's $35 a month. So each of these plans lasts for 24 months with no upfront cost and 0% APR. Honestly, that's pretty great. 0% interest, you don't have to pay anything up front, you make your monthly payments, and you actually come out cheaper than if you bought all this up front. You don't save as much on the Xbox One X though. The Xbox One X, of course, being the higher end model that does true 4K, it has a 4K Blu-ray player, a bunch of other crazy cool things about it. If you bought all of that separately and up front, you're looking at $860, but on this plan it's $840, so you still save 20 bucks. Yeah, it's not much of a saving though. But either way, you're getting a pretty freaking great deal with both of these. Just the ability to go and pay these off slowly. For those that can't afford to go out and buy an Xbox up front, maybe if it's Christmas time, you're looking to get something for your kids to play games on, you know that you can go out and get this thing up front for free, start paying monthly, and your kids day one on Christmas, setting this bad boy up, can go through the Game Pass library and just start picking games to download and play. That's crazy. Like, yeah, you can go out and pick them up a couple of cheap physical games like Sunset Overdrive or Gears of War 4. They're both pretty cheap right now to have something nice to open on Christmas. Even me as a kid that loved getting physical games and had no idea what digital was. I mean, digital games weren't a thing when I was a kid, especially on my Nintendo, my 64, and GameCube and stuff like that. But if I had been given a GameCube for Christmas and my parents were like, you see this library of games here? You see all these exclusive games like Smash Brothers and Mario and blah, blah, blah. Just pick one, download it, and start playing. Would have blown my mind, and it would have been a pretty friggin' great Christmas. So whether you're buying it for your kids on Christmas, or maybe you're going to college right now and can't afford to go and buy a new system and $20 a month is actually pretty reasonable for you, there are a lot of people that can benefit from this deal and start playing games. Start playing games day one, and that's very exciting to me. That's extremely accessible. And again, I was gonna make a video about how accessible Xbox was before this deal. I was gonna talk about Game Pass and how great that was, and I think I've touched on it more than enough, so I won't dive into it again. But something else that's great is once you have this Xbox in your house, it's also backwards compatible. Even for myself, I have a really close friend back in Australia, and we are always looking for co-op games to play, and we found ourselves on Dead Space 3. I went out and picked this up at GameStop for a couple of bucks. It was really cheap. It was under $10. Xbox 360 games are so cheap now. They're in bargain bins. People are giving them away. So right there, you not only have Game Pass, all of those games, Xbox One games can be pretty cheap right now as well because it's Xbox One, but you also have this entire previous generation library of 360 games where a lot of the games, not all of them, but a lot of the games you can pick up for a few dollars and then start playing on your system. So right there, between cheap 360 games, cheap Xbox One games, or just Game Pass, you have 3 ways to bulk up an incredible game library on a system that you can now pick up for free up front. You get what I'm saying? You get the point here? And when it comes to games, I'm definitely focusing on accessibility and the huge library of great games that you can play, and not focusing as much on exclusives. I'm not going at an angle of you have to get this console for the amazing exclusives. Yes, there are some that I believe are pretty much must-plays. I really enjoyed my experience on a lot of these, especially the Gears of War series. And then there are games that are pretty fun and I wouldn't want to miss out on them, but they're not must-haves. Or you have a game like Cuphead, which is incredible and everyone has to try it at least once. So yeah, the exclusives aren't really that fantastic, but something else that does make the Xbox One X a little bit more accessible is a pretty affordable way without going out and buying a high-end PC to play 4K games on your 4K TV. If you do have a 4K TV and you are looking for that 4K experience, with this plan you can now go out and get not only a 4K system but also a 4K player, because the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't have a 4K player. And if you do want to get technical, the PlayStation Pro doesn't even do true 4K. It actually only upscales to 4K. I know that's nitpicky, but some people can notice a difference. That HDR on both the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X makes all the games look amazing regardless. And if I am going to go out and spend more money on an upgraded system, even though the Xbox One X up front is $100 more, if I am going out to spend more money regardless on an upgraded system from what I already have, and the one draw to that upgrade is 4K, I may as well go for the one that does the true 4K and has a 4K Blu-ray player, which is why I end up getting all my third-party games that supports 4K on the Xbox One X. I gotta tell ya, Wolfenstein 2 looks incredible on the Xbox One X. I was completely blown away, especially in the city town area when you go into that little restaurant cafe. Oh my dear god. I also picked up the new Lord of the Rings game in 4K, and Doom just hit Game Pass. And let me tell you, if you think Doom is great, whether you played it handheld on the Switch or you've played it on PlayStation 4, or even if you played it on Xbox One back a few months ago, because recently on the Xbox One X it received a 4K patch, and oh boy, it runs like butter and it looks amazing. And again, Doom is now on Game Pass, so if you went out and got this deal, whether you're getting the S or the X, you're playing Doom day one. And of course, whether you have or you're getting the Xbox One S or the Xbox One X, there's more advantages for this system than just the video games. You have things like crossplay between PC players and now even Nintendo Switch players in certain games. And I'm sure I could sit here and rattle off a bunch of other advantages and technical specifications and stuff like that, but honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't care about any of that. What I care about is games, which is why I've been so excited with my Xbox One recently, and why I think this deal is so great. I ain't being paid to say this, I haven't been approached to say this. Trust me, Microsoft ain't knocking on my door anytime soon. I am a Nintendo fanboy and I've made that pretty clear. But that doesn't change the fact that Xbox is killing it right now as far as being very accessible, and of course, they're doing that for a very obvious reason. For all intents and purposes, they lost this generation. They screwed up big time, coming out of the gate and saying everything was going to be digital, and that if you didn't like it, don't buy the Xbox. I think the exact quote was, if you don't like it, we have a product for you, it's called the Xbox 360. They upset a lot of people, and so everyone was selling their 360s at that time and buying PlayStation 3s leading up to PlayStation 4 coming out, gearing up for that changeover and becoming Sony fans. Sony won that interaction big time, and Xbox has been scrambling to compete ever since then, which is why we've seen things pop up like the backwards compatibility. And the only reason, the only reason they ever did that, went down that avenue, found a way to make that happen and really pushed it, was to expand their library and find more people to play their console. And then another attempt to bring more people in is Game Pass. Hey, we have this service now like Netflix where if you pay $10 a month, you get all these games and blah, 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 blah. Hey, come play on our system, free games. And now we have their newest attempt, Xbox Access. I actually think it's pretty cool and a pretty good idea. You have to have decent credit to actually pick one of these things up, because Microsoft actually wants to get paid for giving these things out. They don't want to lose money by giving away a free system, but even still, you have to imagine in their minds, worst case scenario, they put the Xbox in someone's house, they don't pay it, they lose money on it because they never see the money for it, but that Xbox is in the house. That person is going out there buying games. Once their Xbox Live and Game Pass gets cut off because they're not making their payments, and they make a new account and they pay for Xbox Live on that one instead, they're making those monthly payments to Microsoft for Gold, or maybe even Game Pass, or buying games digitally. Either way, that console is in the house now, and now that it's in that house, it's making them money. And the more people that do that, the more people that jump back on with Xbox by putting these free Xboxes in their houses that they pay for monthly, the bigger their player base becomes, the more people that get involved in that community, and then when the next Xbox launches, suddenly they're like, the last Xbox wasn't that bad. I played it quite a bit when I got mine up front for free. So of course, I'm not saying the Xbox One is the best system right now. I'm not saying go out and sell your other systems to buy this one. And I'm sure for a lot of people sat at home right now that don't care about Nintendo exclusives, that don't even care about PlayStation 4 exclusives, picking up an Xbox One right now might be perfect. Easily the best console right now for a huge library of games, really cheap. But of course, that's just my opinion. What do you think of this all-access deal plan thing? Do you think it's good, or do you think it's really dumb? Let me know down below. Click or tap on this video right here because it was probably better than this one, and it definitely wasn't about Xbox. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we become best friends and we love making new friends here. Share this video with someone you know who really needs to buy an Xbox One already, and with all that being said, I'm out of here.